All right, guys. Welcome to a Silver League set. This series actually happened yesterday, so please don't check Wikipedia and please no spoilers. But we didn't have any other live sets scheduled, and I thought, why not do this? A big series. We've got st4rk, otherwise or currently known as Daddy st4rk. And I really hate saying that. But honestly, st4rk has been around a really long time, which is, I think, what the name implies. Also, what is he doing right now? What is he doing? Is he blocking? Oh, I know what he's doing. He's trying to block the opponent from walling him in. Very interesting strategy. He doesn't want the opponent to bring a villager forward and wall there. So he's placed 2 palisades. Anyways, st4rk, if you look at his Wikipedia profile, he's been around a very long time. And I feel like many people eventually think that once you're in your mid-30s, once you're not playing the game full-time anymore, once you have children, once you've got a partner, you know, once everyone's faster than you, that you're not going to compete. And with st4rk, it hasn't really been the case. Now, he isn't a top 10 talent anymore. Maybe he's not even in the top 20. He did fall down to silver. But I really have a feeling that st4rk doesn't think that he believes he should be in Silver League. And in his first 2 rounds, he won 3-0. So he comes in here, definitely the front runner for his group. He's gone for the Italians here on bypass. And then we got Deaker. Now, Deaker, you probably don't know as much about. Deaker doesn't have nearly as long a history in tournaments, but he's got very good in Age of Empires over the last couple years. Mainly the last 2 to 3 years, you see his level rise up. Reached an elo of like 2,500 elo. He's a very active player. So anyone who's playing ranked at the high level has probably run into Deaker. And I find Deaker is just really consistent from game to game. I don't know exactly what his strategy is going to look like when it comes to tournament play because it's a little bit different, but he made it here, and I would expect a solid showing today. And when Deaker has the way, this civilization has seemed very strong. So I think, considering how good Deaker's economy is, getting the additional villagers for each eco tech is going to be crazy good here. So yeah, the map's bypass. You got the opening through the middle. We could see an attack there. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. On the sides, you've got the hunt and you've got the stone and gold. This is one of my favorite maps in AoE 2. And I'm hoping we get a good game here. Finny Red, thank you for the 20 months. We still haven't added a T90 way emote, which says no way on it. There's one in the Discord. But we need to add that. Especially with how many times way is being picked. I feel like we need the way emote. How do we spell it, though? Is it T90 way as in the Civ? Or T90, like, W-A-Y way? Ducks, I don't know who made it. The no way one I'm thinking of has the little, like, stop sign, and then it says no way in front. No, not whey protein. You guys are such trolls. Oh, not way is in the scale. Oh, my God. I didn't realize how many ways there were. I thought there was the way. There was one way, but apparently there's a million ways. Okay, well, we'll add it, and then we'll see if you guys can figure it out. Damn, what is this? Okay, Deaker's on the way to Feudal. Okay, you know, I saw a build order from Classic Pro in Gold League, and he did this with the way. He went fast Feudal. He got wood upgrade, farm upgrade, stone upgrade right away, which means he gets the 3 villager advantage, and then he tower rushed. So with 1 on stone, Deaker's obviously going to consider the towers. st4rk is on the way up, though, and I wonder if st4rk almost expects this. st4rk is going fast feudal archers. What in the world is this? Last time we did this map, it was fast castle versus fast castle. Now we're seeing fast feudal versus fast feudal. The Italians are a good archer civ. And one of the toughest things about being tower rushed would be if you're not in feudal age to defend it. So here comes Deaker, but Deaker doesn't know that's there. You know, what you might want is you might want a tower and then a stone wall to wall the area. Deaker's waiting till he's in feudal himself, but he's probably shocked to see that st4rk is in feudal age right now. As st4rk is just building the archer range there. Deaker's villagers are just hanging out. Deaker is getting loom. He's getting the wood upgrade. And there he is with the tower. So he sees these palisades for the first time. Now he sees the archer range. He's probably like, what? And st4rk is counter-towering on the right side, which Deaker can't see. st4rk deletes his wall. He has 2 villagers underneath the base of the tower now, which will do some decent damage. And then he has 5 villagers in the tower over here, or about to be. As long as he can build this in garrison, that tower goes instantly down for Deaker. Damn. So now the tower threat is just kind of done. And now Deaker needs to fall back, and Deaker might need to stonewall this. It's almost like st4rk read his opponent perfectly there. That's nice. I mean, we'll see how much value the archers can get, but in theory, the archers could come out right away. The st4rk has to bring the archers forward. Deaker's panicking up some stone walls and some stone gates. And st4rk is going to find that. This is still fairly protected, but if the gate isn't finished, you could bring villagers and attack this. Only thing you can't do now is tower yourself. And just a couple goats here from st4rk. st4rk had this thing back in the day. I don't think he streams too much anymore. But he used to have some really good informative content, some nice builds, and just the way he reads the game is really fun. So I highly suggest him. st4rk used to do this thing where he had a baseball bat. And if he beat somebody in an Age of Empires 2 game, he would write their name on the bat. Which is hilarious. So I'm guessing my name is probably on that bat somewhere, because st4rk has beat me many times. I have to ask him for it, but yeah, Deaker's name is going to be on that bat as well. But yeah, that was st4rk's thing. New tower here from Deaker. And okay, so now there's a gate. There's some stone walls. Now that pretty much shuts down the push. I mean, it's not horrible because Deaker still has the villager lead. It's the guaranteed villager lead. He's got lots of farms. He's walled through the middle. st4rk doesn't have any farms yet, so I like this tower rush approach. I think that what st4rk did is maybe the best way to defend from it, but it still doesn't mean you can compete economically. The way ahead economically regardless. st4rk is going to wall this up. st4rk is going to bring his archers around the outside now. Deaker scout, maybe looking around for that. You have to sense it at some point. He is still on stone, so he could still plan around a tower if need be. Italians really thrive on the discount, so it's cheaper for them to go to the next stage, cheaper university technologies, cheaper fishing ships, which won't help here. And st4rk clearly is going to attack from this side, but he gets found by Deaker's scout. And you can almost tell that Deaker knows that there's going to be an attack. He's like, all right, if your scout's there, your archers are going to come from there. He's dropping the market in the choke. Resources are looking amazing. And if you get to Tiger Cav against archers, the Tiger Cav are very strong, and you already know st4rk is on archers. That would obviously change if st4rk gets to a castle himself later and gets the Genoese crossbow. The market's on the way. st4rk is getting fletching now, so he's determined he could probably do some damage. He sees the stone, he sees the market, he sees the blacksmith, and he finds the gate. Guys, if you wall with a gate, I know he started with this, but last night I was watching an 1100 elo player play, and I saw this dude build like 4 gates because he just thought that would wall the area faster when he wasn't under pressure. 4 minutes later, his gate's getting attacked, and he has the panic wall behind. It's so much easier to break down a gate, so many more tiles. So my advice would be try and limit the amount of gates you use. Here, it's not too much of an issue for Deaker, but that is a whole market invested just to keep this walled up. He drops the tower. He doesn't complete the market, so we can get that wood back later, and he's on the way to castle. Pretty heavy on stone as well, so it feels like the plan is to drop a castle. J-Dog, thank you. 15 maps in a map pool for high-level AoE 2. They have to be balanced perfectly. I think this is probably our best season in terms of map balance from day one. So, the team, so the admins and I, and then also T-West, the scripter, we put a lot more focus into making sure the balance is good from the jump. And also, I'm really happy with the variety the map pool presents and the way the drafts work. So, appreciate the compliments, though. I as well agree. Breath of fresh air. I like the Red Bull. I like Empire Wars. I'm excited for that event. But I always prefer Standard Age of Empires, and I'm pretty happy with what we've got here. So Deaker's economy is absolutely unreal. He's a minute away from Castle Age. He's defended so well. st4rk is on stone, so st4rk will probably play towards Genoese crossbowman, which is a sick read. It's a nice play if your opponent's going to be playing into Tiger Cap, but st4rk's just now clicked up. That is a good Castle Age time from st4rk. This is just a better Castle Age time from Deaker. That's crazy. And this was basically a failed tower rush as well. It's not worst case scenario because he didn't lose villagers, but it's worst case scenario in the sense that you didn't get any pressure down. You didn't get a forward wall down on your opponent. And now you make it to Castle Age. You drop the Siege Workshop. Beautiful job from Deaker there to pull the villager away. And now you get eco upgrades, which gives you even more villagers. This Civ is insane. And he's playing it perfectly right now. How did I just realize that we have a fish and chips command? Somebody said fish and chips when I said fishing ships because, haha, funny. Apparently I don't enunciate enough. And then there's a command that's keeping track of this. It says T90 has ordered 425 orders of fish and chips. And then it uses the salmon emote. Has that been there for years? It must have been there for a long time. I've never seen it before. What do you type? You just say, do you have to do like the command, or do you just say fish and chips? Just like he did. Okay, you say fish and chips with the apostrophe, and then it counts up. It's without the exclamation, really. Okay, well, I have never saw that one. How dare you? But also, that's pretty good, I guess. So soon a 10 villager lead for Deaker. But he didn't immediately drop a castle, so there's a little bit of time for st4rk with the map control. I think st4rk's still expecting there to be a castle. But this game is going to go late. I think that's what you're hoping for here as the Italians. The Italian late game is maybe the best late game there is in the game. There's very few that can compete with it. Genoese crossbowman and hussar can shut down so many compositions. They do have bombard cannon. They do lack siege ramp, but I really like Genoese crossbowman if the opponent relies on a lot of cav. And the way do rely on a lot of cav. Cav archer, tiger cav. Does anyone know, does the hero receive bonus damage from Genoese crossbowman? You can't actually make a hero, which is 1,000 resources. It is cav, so it should receive bonus damage, right? Here comes the town center from st4rk. He went for 3 immediately. So still about 10 villagers behind. And he's going to go for the 4th over on the right side. I find this to be an interesting matchup because I play both these players a lot. And they both do such a good job with their ecos. So game 1's the neutral map. It does not surprise me that both players felt pretty comfortable here. Because their economies are next level. Here comes the scouts. We might have some damage dealt here. A nice scout addition here from Deaker. The one scout's weak. He's probably just looking to snipe monks, but he does know the town center's there now. And he did get the first relic from the middle. And here comes the Megano. And another Megano in Q2. So he might build up an army to attack st4rk. And st4rk needs to decide on where he places a castle right now. st4rk also just looking for the relics. st4rk still has the archers over here, which was protecting that one. And they're following that one villager now. But yeah, if st4rk were to drop the castle here right now, he'd maybe have a chance. But if he doesn't, that's going to be under pressure, and he's going to drop the castle at home. I mean, castle at home feels good for the really late game. But castle here would allow you to get the late game, so you don't take pressure. I know the colors are a little bit hard to see, but Deaker likes to pick yellow. Stark likes to pick purple. If they're consistent with this, I'll keep the colors for this series. Have to compromise on the red and blue every once in a while, but I feel like I can't win. If I do change the colors, we have people saying no, and if I don't change the colors, we have people saying ah. So sorry. Seems like someone's going to be affected. Oh god, that is a Deaker castle right there. Stark noticed the siege push, though. That was a nice save. Yeah, Deaker's bringing the bills. This town center from Stark is not going to do too much. Maybe went a little crazy there. You also, I was going to say, you have to delete that spearman. There's definitely a chance for Deaker to get the conversion and then kill the scout. So Monk goes down for Deaker as he wants relic number 3. Castle's on the way up, though. There is not a lot that Stark can really do to stop this. And Deaker defends from the scout. He's taking down the town center, and Stark is just going to run. It's the right call to just flee. But imagine if this castle would have been over there. Then he'd have this whole area protected. And he doesn't have the stone and gold over here yet either. And Deaker's on the way to Imp. Damn. That's such a crazy Imp time. And he gained good map control with very little army investment too. He basically did all that with 2 mangonels, a scorpion, and the villagers. Stark is researching handcart in this TC. Will he complete it? I think he might. That's well calculated. Because you don't want to produce the villager there. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait. Oh my god. Wait, he lost it. He actually lost it. Hold up. Back. I saw 99.8%, I think. It went so far, I thought he had it. Okay, slow-mo. It's a 99.73 when it's at 3 HP. I think the most I could see there was 99.83. I can't even tell, dude. You're going to have to take my word for it. He loses it because of capture age, right? 99.83, he loses handcard. Capture age would show it at the top if he had it, so. Not a big deal, of course. No, he didn't get it. He's researching it again. That's crazy. But at least he realized he didn't get it. He's going to get it again. He's dropping a town center over here. He is making a couple of Genoese crossbowmen. And now Deaker has to think through how he wants to play early in. What I would do here is I would full push the middle. Because you have the right side. The middle is just one layer of stone wall, and it's super easy to push there. I think he's clearly thinking the same. Any civ that gets traction trebs could be insanely strong with the early traction treb push. We see archer ranges, so maybe he wants to play skirmisher. Could still justify playing with the Jean base. I think the Jean base are still okay if you have imp upgrades to mix in with the traction trebs. Stark getting redemption now, maybe expecting the traction trebs. He did end up getting 3 of the 5 relics, so that's nice. And he's dropping a town center over here. Still has the archers here, too. I think they've just been spotted by the scorpion. The Deaker's going to force the issue. 3,000 more resources collected. Still has more vills. That's still going to stay the case for a while. Has all of the stone and gold available on the right side. He will move in with the mangonels now. Even just denying this gold is good. And Stark is going to stonewall the left side. It feels like Stark needs stonewalls everywhere, but you can wall everywhere. Middle, you've already walled. The right side, there's an army. So stonewall on the left gives you a lot of time, so you can't be raided here. Imagine if Deaker would have prioritized any army here. You wouldn't need much army. You could take down those 7 archers and stop the wall. But he's focused on building up the traction trebs. He's focused on pushing the middle. He's also looking around over on the right. And mangonels are just slowly taking down the houses. Stark does have redemption, though. Which will surprise Deaker. I don't think you're expecting redemption to be in. Yeah, Scorpion will find the archers. He's clearly starting to go this direction now. But he's chasing the archers and he doesn't see the wall. He wants outposts, so he'll find out, but that might be fully walled by Stark in a second. Over here, Monks with 12 range now. Deaker should delete the mangonels. And, well, he's a little late, so he loses one. That's whatever, though. That's not that big a deal. You're focused on the traction trebs. You're focused on pushing in Heart's base. Not Heart's base. Sorry, Stark's base. The heart of Stark's base is what I was thinking of. And Stark needs to brace himself. He does get the walls down on the left. But now the traction trebs are starting to mass. You do need to get a lot of them for them to become very strong. It's still only 4 for Deaker. But what makes them strong is that you can make them right away. You don't have to wait for chemistry. Stark has to wait for chemistry to get bombard cannon, and then bombard cannons are still outranged. So I always prefer traction trebs over bombard cannons. I still think the Genoese crossbowman's the key, but you got to keep your castles alive if you're Stark. And now Deaker sees the wall. He'll castle the left side to pressure this. I don't know if Stark will really see that. I think he'll see the siege workshops. He does see the castle. Maybe he'll build another castle back here just in case. But he's got a lot of work to do. Deaker was on the right side. The Genoese crossbowmen kill that. Now we see stables for Stark behind. But that's a lot of skirmishers with good upgrades. So the Genoese crossbowmen can't be anywhere close. Oh, man. Even losing the monk there is kind of painful. And you can't convert them either, right? Monks with 12 range, still outranged by the traction trebs. These traction trebs are so tough to stop. Deaker needs to find a way to spend his gold, though. I'd really like to see... I know it sounds weird, but I'd still like to see Cav. At least until the Genoese crossbowmen are in higher numbers. There's only 11 of them, so... I think spending your gold on some Cav right now could end the game. But he might end the game anyways. Bombard cannon goes down for Stark. Brutal loss for Stark. Again, it's just... You research an upgrade, you wait for it, and then you're still just losing the unit. It's painful. And now we've got Rams on the left side from Deaker. 60 population lead. Tiger Cav are going to come through. Forward Castle is coming as well. This feels like Stark has no response to this. He still has this last stand of castles and light cap. The light cap switch will be nice. He is dropping his own castle over here to protect the stone and gold. But that just might be rammed down. The Rams are already here. Stark needs... He needs light cap with full armor before anything other than skirms is here. If he can clear this once, he can breathe again. Okay, he gets his castle up. But Deaker's castle is going to complete as well, which is a problem. He is microing his bombard cannons. He does still have the Genoese over here. I'm sorry, what? Anonymous has gifted 50 subs to the stream. Don't know who to thank. Don't know who to thank. But Dodge is in chat and thank you. What in the world? Stark's having some big problems right now. Stark wanted to add Deaker's name to his tournament bat. But he is getting pushed on both sides. He's going to lose his castle almost immediately over here. Deaker's got 2,000 golds. He's done everything right. He just needs to apply the finishing blow here. He's being as patient as he can. And he'll have the left side. He'll have the right side. He'll have the middle. I'm not saying that I don't appreciate the 50 gifted from Anonymous. But now, not knowing who to thank makes life awkward for me. So, appreciate it. A couple of the traction trebs got sniped. So that's a positive, I guess. The Janbes are also overextending underneath the castle. The light cap move in. They'll snipe the rest of the traction trebs if they move. Oh, but more bombard cannons go down too. Thank us all. Yeah, I mean, if there weren't 50 viewers here to receive the subs, there wouldn't have been Anonymous gifting the subs. So, chat really deserves all the credit. Seriously, though, whoever that was, that's crazy. Thank you. Ugh. Stark's situation is just so brutal right now. He needs some positives. Speaking of 50 gifted, Deaker's about to give 25 over here to Stark. I mean, he clearly... He has the control on the left. He has the control in the middle, so he wants to control the right side, but he just needs to be careful. There are still some Genoese there. Ugh, what do you do? What on earth do you do if you're Stark? You need patience, I guess. You need to somehow, some way, build up your pop again. And right now, that's mainly light cav. He does have the Trebs on this side, starting to push back. Deaker's kind of slowed down, like Deaker's not pushing anywhere. He's just holding a position. He's given up on the traction Trebs. He's going for Siege Ram instead, which isn't awful. But it's crazy that he's got this massive military lead and he's not really attacking on either side. He needs to push. Stark's still able to stabilize, able to get up to 50 on food. Still has 3 relics, still has some gold. And he'll take down this castle. I mean, if you reclaim this area and get the stone and gold again, and you can eventually get into elite Genoese crossbowmen, might not end up being too bad. Expensive losses for Stark losing the monks. But yeah, Stark is still taking all this gold back here, which Deaker hasn't been able to deny. And now Deaker may be panicking a little bit. He's mixing in Tiger Cav on the left side. And Stark is going to find a castle. Guys, it felt like Deaker just chilled out for a second. And he's given Stark some time to get some momentum. There's Genoese crossbowmen over here, which will clear the Tiger Cav. This castle gets denied. The Stark will snag some conversions and kill the rest. That's a free castle kill. What in the world? And now Stark's got the light cav here. And Stark is holding on, guys. He whittles himself through that area. Crams his units through there to get through. Population is even again. The Stark's units are currently patrolling back and forth and not engaging, which is not so good. But they're still busy on the left side, where Deaker has another castle. He's making more Tiger Cav. And now the Siege Rams are going in for Deaker. Not enough, though. The Light Cav will take down the Rams. I still really like the Traction Trebs because you have so much range, and Stark would have to run in for them. I didn't hate the Siege Rams, but I'd like to see some Traction Trebs as well. Nice raids here from Deaker. It's becoming obvious to him that Stark has some gold back there. But there are some Genoese, guys. And the Genoese, there's only 15. They have 35 kills. Also realizing that Deaker never got this upgrade, which is crazy. All your mounted units have +4 melee armor, which means his Jean Bays, they're receiving 4 more damage than they should. We have ourselves a game all of a sudden. I'm with you. Someone was saying it was over. But think about what you want in late game with Italians. You want multiple castles to produce a Genoese crossbowman, which he has. You want enough stables and food income to spam light cav with that. You want gold, you want stone, of course. You want relics. He has it. Like, Stark's got a position now. But this is very playable. And he's even starting to push. Deaker doesn't know where to go. He's giving up on the middle. He's going to shift all of his army over to the left side because he's starting to take losses here. As Stark... I think he actually converted the Siege Ram, right? Because Italians don't get Siege Ram. But he might build up some siege to push the right side then. Big fight. Big fight. Light cav in front. Stark could get Hussar. Stark could get more attack upgrades. Stark's not maxed out either. Stark doesn't even have elite Genoese crossbowmen. But he's got the Trebs. He's got some monks. It's a big fight. I haven't seen Genoese against Tiger Cav that frequently. Seems like the Tiger Cav are doing a pretty damn good job in there. Maybe that changes once it's elite, but Deaker's going to hold. Deaker's going to hold. Deaker will hold. He clears the army. He will take down the Trebs. What a find. That's so nice. And there's still stone and gold around, and then Stark's going to have to run from it too. Meanwhile, Stark has some Hussars through the middle. He'll re-wall that. Stark does have an army here. I think he's waiting for siege maybe to push this castle, but the castle positions for Deaker is going to hold. But you still have to break all the castles, which is going to take time. But I think Deaker just needed a second to get his upgrades. It's very late. with some of the armor upgrades and attack upgrades. I would say stop making Tiger Cav just because it's a gold unit that will die to Genoese. But it did look like they did pretty good in that fight. So maybe it's worth getting elite. Hussars are going to run through. Will they make it back there? Yes. 5 HP Hussar. We'll call him Jim. We'll see what Jim can do back there. I think Jim's going to be found. That's good awareness from Deaker. But that does remind you, though, you might need to wall. That wall that Stark did was really smart earlier. I think a full wall, like he's even doing here, would be very wise. Just so units can't get into the back. Yeah, Deaker wants to get through. He will get through. But now all his villagers are exposed to the Hussars. And Stark is going to find the villagers. He's like, thank you very much. And 20 villager kills for Stark. The Stark will leave his farms in the north. And we're approaching the hour mark. We still haven't seen Elite Genoese Crossbowmen. We still haven't seen fully upgraded Cav for either player. That will be the case for Deaker, though, once he gets Blast Furnace. But he's not making Hussars. He's just making Tiger Cav, which costs gold. The Tiger Cav's a really strong unit, though. And there's not many Genoese, like we said. So there it is. Elite Tiger Cav's on the way. Stark will aim to defend there. He is getting Hussars into the back. He did kill all those vills. He can move back to his farms over here if he can clear this. Stark getting crop rotation, but this has been a tough army to kill. Has more villagers now, though. Elite Tiger Cav's in for Deaker. He is chasing a lot with some of these Tiger Cav, which is annoying. I don't actually know where all the Tiger Cav are at the moment. They're on the right side. Damn. And it goes from a regular tiger to a snow tiger once you get Elite Tiger Cav. And there's Mingguang armor as well. Okay, so finally he's going to be fully maxed out. And the Genoese Crossbowmen are not that. They're not elite yet. They're still doing okay. They're still doing really well. This is supposed to be an anti-archer unit. So the Genoese are still sick. And more Hussars running through from Stark. More time on this stone. More time on this gold. He's not being raided. But we got a big push coming from Deaker. He needs to siege again. Stark also showing that he's just going to run by these castles, right? Just going for Hussar raids. Exactly how you want to use them. Snipes the monk there. Just passing down here. He might lose 10 units every time. But if he gets one back there, it's something that could do damage. Stark will castle here. How much gold is even left on this map right now? 6k. Over here, there's 3k. Over here, there's 3k. And I think most of that is going to Deaker right now. So that castle's really important. Stark is completely misclicked there. The Genoese Crossbowman. No, no, no. Stark, that's so bad. Where are they going? Yikes. I mean, that is the unit you need to keep alive right now. I just lost like 8 units to the castle. He did still get the Hussars down here, though. Man, what a game. Crazy game. Game 1, play all 3. Stark is 6-0 after his first 2 rounds in this group. Deaker, I think, had only played 1 round. I think Deaker was 1-2. So, Deaker has more games to play, but obviously he's going to want the wins. Now, Stark has 28 Genoese Crossbowmen now. And he has 83 on food as well. How did he get to 83 on food? That's crazy. He lost his starting area. But he's reclaiming it. He's rewalled. He'll take the ranges now. And this is his game plan. His game plan is just to raid with the Hussars and run by. Deaker does have some walls here now. So if Stark wants to run by again, he's going to run right into the Tiger Cabin. Ooh, man. Tiger Cav, at least initially, find a good engagement. Ooh, but Stark found the villagers on the left. And Stark is just taking all that stone and all that gold away from Deaker right now. And the Hussars are still going to make it back there, which means units need to chase. Look at all these random units from Deaker that are still patrolling around the backside from raids. Look, there's a dude here. There's a dude here. There's a scorpion. There's 2 here. Let me pull up military minimap. Look at all the different areas there's yellow military right now. Crazy because he's had to chase. And now there's another group of hussars just passing. And Stark's still running around back there with those hussars. And still taking the stone and the gold. And with that gold, he'll get Blast Furnace. So finally, his hussars will be maxed. He's starting to build up some trebs. I'm seeing one now. There might be more. There's also a bombard cannon. Deaker still is the town center here. He keeps some of his villagers alive. So he'll be back on the gold. And now he's going to raid Stark. Oh my god. He made the hero. We have Cacao here. Listen to him. So, what's this hero do again? It's 1,000 resources. I know that. And it increases the attack speed of nearby units. So right now, it's increasing the attack speed of every unit that walks by. He doesn't exactly have it in the right position. So he might not even know he clicked it. But the Tiger Cav and the Skirmishers don't need him anyways. That's a big fight. That's a big clear in an important area. And on the left side, he's also going for some raids as well. The Genoese crossbowmen are elite now. And they still should be the key for Stark. But he doesn't have him in the position on this side. Stark did take down that town center, though. And Stark could maybe get some Genoese crossbowmen over here. Man, the start of Imp was so good for Deaker. Because he had the siege. And I feel like we just need to see traction trebs again. It's like he forgot traction trebs exist. He forgot siege exists. He'll take a big fight, but then he never has a follow-up to take position away from Stark. Stark doesn't have HP upgrades on the castles. Like, the castles don't have... They don't really have a lot of tankiness to them right now, but he's not pushing them. He's just trying to slowly break Stark, which is a way you can play it, but... With Stark having the additional relic and Stark having as many farms as he does, I don't think it's going to be that easy. And if you don't take down their base when you win the fight, they'll get the time to get their units back up. That's exactly what Stark is doing right now. Stark is just able to be so patient, even when it seems like he's on the brink of defeat. Damn, what a game. $10 for this game. So... That's going to be, what, $5 per hour by the time this game is finished? Because in Silver League, it's still $10 per win. And then you have $10,000 as a whole in the league. A lot of that goes towards placement prizes and stuff. The hero is the laziest hero you've ever seen. Like, he spent 1,000 resources on this guy. It's 500 HP, but he's not even using it. I know some chatters out there are very much in the category of that should not be in the game anyways. Screw the hero. And I'm not a big fan of them either, but it's if you're gonna make it, you gotta use it, right? You gotta use it. It's actually very strong. They have some that are, I think the one that's most applicable is probably the Shu hero. The Wu one is kind of meh. But, yeah, Stark comes back. There's still some gold over here. He has his Genoese camp. He denies the town center. They both killed 100 villagers now. And then on this side, they're taking the fight. But, guys, Stark does not care about Hussar. His cav is expendable. Deaker's cav is not so expendable. There's the hero now. The Tiger cav are really costly. At least in a game where there's going to be no gold. And so there's not a very big army of Cav. The hero is still here. And now he's in the fight. So now the units are going to attack faster. Yeah, Born to Believe's experience in my chat is the exact experience I had before. He says he probably wanted to build a Treb and forgot that they don't have Trebs. Oftentimes the hero will be on the same hotkey. Yep, you're right. The hero is defaulted to the same hotkey as a Trebuchet for me as well. So maybe he tried to make a regular Treb. I have since changed that hotkey because I don't want to accidentally make a hero. The hero's still in there. It's 200 pop versus 200 pop. We're now just comparing whose 200 population is strongest. Stark is waiting by this Treb as he starts to push the castle. The Genoese are waiting here. These Genoese have 33 kills. Stark is going to run through again and go for a raid. So just passing into the back of the eco. This has been such a good play from st4rk because Deaker gets so overwhelmed with everything else every time this happens. Deaker can't let the units through. Deaker is walling it up. And honestly, if you just complete the gates now, that's so much better than what it has been. So I think there's still a hole here, though. Oh, wait, he's going back? Oh, okay. Big plays. Big plays. And Hussars are trapped now. Treb's still firing over here. It'll take down the tower. Maybe it'll take down the castle. We have Trebs over here now from st4rk with some Genoese patrolling on the hill. We have Onager from Deaker to cut through the wood lines and maybe make this a more raidable game. Maybe he could cut through here eventually, but that's not something I was expecting to see. Not on the bingo card for the game. But castles are getting pressured. These Hussars got trapped, but the army's still back here. If castles start to go down, you could have some real issues in late game here, especially if you think Tiger Cav is a good option for you. I still can't feel like the regular Hussars for this civ is still fine because of the melee armor. And at least when you get your Cav shredded, you're not losing gold. He sacrifices everything for one Treb, misses it. Or sorry, no, he gets one Treb. There's still another one is what I meant to say. I think we know where st4rk is going with these Hussars. Well, he's going to attack. I thought he was going to go just passing again, but he sees the Onager now. He's Onager... the Onager cut from Deaker gets through, but now st4rk is stone gating it. Treb's still dishing out some damage against the castle. Genoese crossbowmen are looking really strong, man. The Genoese crossbowmen kill things so quickly. And where's our hero for Deaker? Hero's still chilling out there. Feels like... Okay, finally we get traction Trebs again. Finally we get traction Trebs. Deaker's traction Trebs is what changed the game in early Imperial Age. He's just been making siege rams. And the second the traction Trebs appear, st4rk has to back up. He does save the Treb, though, which is nice. And he's still making progress over here, too. Just feel like Hussar Genoese crossbowman feels like the easier comp. Look, st4rk can just back up towards the Genoese crossbowman and the Hussars melt. And st4rk's been mining gold. There's a little bit of gold left in his base, but he's been taking all the gold over here. There's not a lot left now. There's only 400, but that's all st4rk's. This 250 here, as well as the gold that's left here, he's taking. Siege ram in the middle now for Deaker. It's a good idea, but st4rk sees it. Defends from it. We'll just wall up. And still these Genoese crossbowmen are just mowing this down. Deaker just cannot respond to this. He can't get anywhere near. He needs the skirms, but then there's Hussars to kill the skirms. st4rk's okay with not advancing any further on this side, I feel. Because he's already advancing on this side, right? Yeah, and once the castle's down, he can dive with his Hussars and Genoese so much easier. Italian late game. st4rk. Impossible to break. He's got 4 castles back here with the relics protected. He's got 90 farms. Incredible job to get back here. And now he's going to advance. I thought there was no way this game was still going to be going. Deaker had like a 5,000 score lead at one point. And little by little, st4rk was able to slowly start taking some good fights and getting some momentum. The Deaker gave him the time to do so, and st4rk has run with it. He's going to snipe the Onager again. He's taking down this town center now with the Trebs. A crazy game. There's still a lot of army camping for st4rk on the left side, so he's not able to follow this up. He doesn't have the Hussars in front anymore. Now his siege is exposed. But look at the Genbos go. They're just one-shotting these Hussars. Deaker, I think, really needed to go for the bombard cannon there. His units just aren't good enough. His units just are not good enough. Hussar Genoese crossbowman is the key right now. And he's got no golds. Also, apparently the hero died. I missed that. Okay, this has been cut open. So, nice shot from Deaker if he wants to run in there and raid. It's certainly an option for him now. There are traction Trebs again for Deaker. But he would have to advance on the left or the middle, I would say. You could stabilize the right side, and if you stabilize the right side, you still are kind of fighting over corners in the late game. So eventually Stark might run out of wood. I know that's a really long game, but we're starting to actually talk about the wood control, which means this area is going to be key, right? Stark just slowly advancing forward with more Genoese crossbowmen. They now have 70 kills. Look, if these were just regular archers, Deaker would always take this fight. But because it's Genoese crossbowmen, he's scared. He's waiting for an onager again. And here come the traction treads from the other side. Oh my god, they're so slow, man. Hussars are just kind of chilling. Units get through here for Deaker. No real action on the left side. Oh my god! Stark says, I see your traction trebs, and I will bring 7 trebs. He's been so patient, man. He's been so patient. Big engagement. Deaker snipes the trebs, so he'll hold the right. But the left is going to crumble so freaking fast. I mean, how many times do we see someone go for like 1 or 2 trebs? Their treb gets sniped, and then the cycle repeats 16 times. That happens so frequently, right? But Stark is going to wait for 7, which means that castle will get deleted. Bye-bye, castle. The Hussars are going to be through. This eco is then super exposed. 2 of the traction trebs got sniped by Stark on this side, too, with the Hussars. This is a masterclass from Stark. And, man, if I lost this game, if I had the position that Deaker did in this game, I would be so tilted with myself. I'd be so frustrated. I'd go down the list of things in my head that I felt that I could have done differently. Stark, who's undefeated in silver so far, just has clawed this game back. And it's just been methodical. Still the Genoese crossbowmen camping the trebs because he knows Hussars could appear. Genoese crossbowmen are over here defending too. And anytime he sees siege, he's just going to send his Hussars in to snipe the siege. The Hussars are raiders and siege snipers. The Genoese crossbowmen do everything else. Deaker does get a really good fight there. But he loses the onager anyways. He'll lose the traction treb, and he'll lose the traction treb again. And then the left side of his base is still a nightmare. He's not dead. He's not dead. He's at 200 pop. He's got 64 Hussars. And the Hussars are superior when fighting in a Hussar v Hussar engagement. But they can't kill the Genoese crossbowmen. Ooh, big raid. Big raid. Okay, so Deaker's sick of this. This is the first time Deaker's gone for a real raid in I don't know how long. Stark sees it. Stark will quickly wall that off a little bit. Funnel all of this in towards the castle. And he still has the Genoese. So as long as he patrols the Genoese this way, he'll feast. And he's still coming this way with the trebuchets as well. The answer to what kills Genoese crossbowmen is skirm. But the problem is Hussar also kills skirm. So the combination of Hussar and Genoese crossbowmen is one of the best in the game. Oh man, so much for the raid. Stark wanted him to do that. The Genoese crossbowmen just feasting on the Hussars. Beautiful play from Stark. Trebs are still doing damage. The Trebs have done 40k damage, guys. We're talking stables, lumber camps, houses. And then the Genoese are just waiting. You still have to take the Trebs, though. I think you have to if you're Deaker. Even if it's going to be painful, you got to stop the pain. Yeah, especially if there's a castle on the way up, you have no choice. You just got to engage. Hussars will go through for Stark. There are still the walls back here from Deaker, so he'll defend there. Deaker's so scared to engage because of how this has gone. He's waiting for the skirms to be here this time. But if he backs up any longer, if he waits any longer, Stark will get this castle up, which is an important long-term castle to protect a lot of that space and that wood line. But here we go. Skirms are here now. Most of the Hussars are not for Stark. They're actually, it's the Genoese on the right, but there are no Hussars here. So if it's just Genoese crossbowmen, this could be a problem. I would garrison my Genoese right now. Save the Genoese, let the Trebs die. Maybe back up. Yeah, that's a good play. You're going to lose those Trebs. It's as painful as it is. They did their job. You just cannot lose the Genoese crossbowmen. And there's no siege from Deaker yet, so he can't push the castle down. He is going to make some siege rams right now. What a game. 1 hour and 22 minutes in. Both players still 180 pop. Stark finding the farmers, though. He somehow killed more villagers than his opponent has. Look at the walls from st4rk once the raids start to come in. What? Didn't see a hole there. Not sure how that happens, but there apparently was a hole. But that'll all be dealt with. This will all be dealt with. And still raids inside of Deaker's eco as well. What in the world? Yeah, no one really has the gold to justify making any gold unit except Siege from here. st4rk, if he lost his Genoese crossbowman, would want to make more. But you just spend all your gold on Siege. I just love it from st4rk. He gains control, and then he sets up the fight so perfectly. He took the left side. Deaker had to commit everything to recover there, and now the right side is gone. Back and forth. Back and forth. Which I think is exactly what Deaker needed to do earlier in the game with traction trebs. He didn't pressure with traction trebs in the same way that Dark is pushing with the regular trebuchets. And he was never been able... He basically had to kill st4rk before st4rk got to this many Genoese crossbowmen. And now we have 0 castles for Deaker. He'll lose his siege rams. He's losing his stables. He'll lose his houses. All this adds up. He's got a castle he needs to push back on the left. The only way that Deaker has a chance is a big snowball push this way now. Right side, you just have to hold. There's no value here anymore. I think, but it can't just be this castle. Honestly, I think it has to be this castle and then the other two. You break the other two, we get into a crazy scenario. You still have walls here. It still will take st4rk some time. st4rk has a lot of his pop over there. If you can break st4rk on the left, you have a chance here if you're Deaker. The skirms are there to focus the Genoese. The siege rams are there. This castle will go down. Let's see what st4rk does. I think I might actually be tempted to loop all my army back here. But that's a big waste of time. So usually you just let this army die. And then you just produce more units here. There's an argument to delete villagers too. Delete 20, 30 vills so you can get 30 hussars here right away. But yeah, castle's down. Do the way get help? Okay, they do. It's too late now, but maybe you could have considered help. I think Halb wouldn't have changed a lot. I really think he had a good enough position to just break st4rk. He was one more step removed from st4rk being broken in this game. He was 60 pop up. He needed to break this castle. He needed to break the right side. He needed to break the left just a little bit further. But st4rk's defense is just crazy. And I don't know if Deaker has enough in the tank now. He can't push the left. The rams have gone down. They can't go any further. Still losing ground on the right. 100 hussars in queue for st4rk. st4rk has had that additional relic the entire time. And Deaker doesn't have a single defensive castle. So without defensive castles, you'll just slowly get raided to death. What a painful, painful, painful situation for Deaker right now. But yeah, Ziv, I think if you foresee the game is going to go this late, I think going Halbs is good. I really think Tiger Cav was the biggest thing that Deaker did wrong this game. I just think they're against Genoese crossbowmen. I don't think they're worth it. As good, but it's such a new unit that I don't think he knew that. And I had never seen the matchup either. So he probably told himself that the unit's busted because it is in every other scenario. And that it would be okay because he had the map control and the gold to spend back then, right? But even if you don't go for Tiger Cav, like part of the reason you don't go for Tiger Cav is to save gold. And what you want to save gold on is you want to save gold so you can make siege. The traction trebs were so good. And then once he lost that first group of them, he was never able to get back. And st4rk is just way ahead now. It's not even close. And the Genoese, you can snipe the Genoese all you want, but you just don't have the map control now to stay alive if you're Deaker. He's lost too many villagers already, 75 villagers. I think he's sitting here in disbelief. I mean, my chat's kind of in disbelief at just how good this comeback was from st4rk. He's had a lot of instances where his units are just kind of chilling. But it's okay when you have the Genoese crossbowmen always doing their thing, right? This group has 93 kills. You don't even have walls either, right? It's not like you don't have castles. You don't even have walls. You're now fully open on this side and on this side to be raided. I guess you do have the walls in the middle, but that's hardly a wall at this point. st4rk will be 7-0 in Silver League. Damn. At least. It's a play all three, so we'll see what happens on Deaker's home map and st4rk's maps as well. st4rk is currently sitting underneath his opponent's gate. And the Genoese are there. And the Hussars and the Genoese engage, and we know what will happen. It will be nothing but death and misery for Deaker, whose skirmishers will be left exposed against the remaining Hussars. And st4rk's got 100 in queue as well, so we know those Hussars are coming from somewhere. Crazy fight back. I gotta go back and look at it to see what the population difference was. But what a comeback there from st4rk. That was insane. What a hold. I mean, guys, he turtled up into one corner of the map with 3 relics, and he was just thinking, if I can hold on, if I can get to 40 Genoese and Hussar, I can win this game. He ran past these castles a dozen times. He had to defend so much. I think it was 118 pop versus 200 at one point. I'm just going to toggle back through. I mean, right here, it's 139 pop versus 192. 30 villager lead for Deaker and a 20 army lead for Deaker. This was the game. This was the game. Like, this is where he wins the game. But I think what happens is he gets his traction trebs sniped and then he never makes any more. Yeah, st4rk comes out. He snipes these traction trebs. And this is when Deaker switched to siege ram. Now, in Deaker's defense, he's also taking the left. So there's a lot to do. He's also trying to castle the right. But I think if he was happy with what he did on the left and just comes right back to the middle with more traction trebs, I think he wins the game right here. I think this castle gets broken. st4rk would have to take fights before he's fully ready. And st4rk can never max out. But guys, you know what we're seeing is like st4rk sneaking back over to the left. Deaker has to respond. st4rk took all of this back. st4rk was still holding. Like, full credit to st4rk because he just went full rat mode. He just would not die. And he gets the win. Well played. Yeah, that could really frustrate me if I was Deaker. Especially if you end the game and you look at resources collected and see that. And you obviously were in the game. You understand how big a lead you had. Like, here's the population graphs. I'll just do total population. There's a long period of time there where Deaker's got a really big lead. He just wasn't able to finish the game. All right, game 2. Deaker clearly showed that he can do enough to get a lead there, right? He was way ahead that game, at least at one point, and st4rk was able to pull off the comeback. That's what st4rk will do to you. st4rk is not a player who's going to kill you quickly. st4rk, it's more the other way around. If you don't kill him, he is going to kill you in time, slowly, methodically. That's what a lot of the pros who have been around a long time will do. st4rk is playing as the Bulgarians. We've got Monaco game number 2. But yeah, live standings, Deaker's going to really need wins. I think he had only played 1 round before this, and he had 1 win. So there's still 3 more sets after this one for him. But at least 1 or 2 wins from this would put him into the playoff conversation. If he gets swept, then maybe it's more so will he survive. And group's really, really tough. But st4rk is 7-0 right now. Swept his first 2 rounds. 1-0 in this series. st4rk would just push in some deer. And long-term, though, it's going to be all about these fish. We'll see mills up here. And that is the fastest form of food income in the game, pretty much, is villagers on shore fish. And it's everywhere, so that's usually what this map is dominated by. Koreans is not a choice that I would have expected. Typically, you pick a civ that can open with man-at-arms, like st4rk has. Free man-at-arms upgrade is a pretty obvious reason to pick the civ. I've seen Japanese, I've seen Romans, have not seen Koreans. So, I mean, I like Koreans for the counterplay. So if you want to play double range archers or skirmishers, maybe that's the play for Deaker. He is a pretty defensive player overall, so maybe he's just picking Koreans to counter the infantry. Ziv says, T90, what can you do in that matchup if it gets to high crossbow numbers? You mean in the previous matchup? I mean, high crossbow numbers, you can play Tiger Cav. But if you meant Genoese crossbowmen, that's where you'd have to go skirmishers. But in the previous matchup, it's not an issue to play Tiger Cav. Tiger Cav would win the game. So, but yeah, I just, you pick Italians for their late game, and it worked out for st4rk. st4rk is here looking for the mill, which he won't find. I do think Deaker will drop the mill. He's just dropping it right now. Long term, don't really see a lot of this, guys, but there's lots of res on the map. Lots of reason to expand to different wood lines, different stones, different golds. Sometimes players will actually forget about that, though. You never really scout the outer area because you're always thinking about your start. And then when things get chaotic, you don't always have an idea of where the stone and gold is out here. So it's a tiny detail, but I think if someone has an idea of where a stone and gold, okay, like this gold, imagine in early Castle Age, if he's aware of that, he catches a glimpse of it and can drop the town center there. It's kind of the same thing here for Deaker. If he wants towers or something later, he could take that stone. T90, what's the best counter for longbowmen? Well, if you're just looking to counter that unit, you could say Huskarl maybe. Play Goths and make Huskarls. At higher levels, combining skirmishers or cav with rams is really good. So, oftentimes the weakness for Britons is if someone gets siege ram. But if you're just looking for one unit because your brother is spamming longbows at you, make some Huskarls and try that. Could also go for like Ghulams maybe for the Hindustanis. Or actually, you could play the way and you could play Tiger Cav too in theory. Where it gets really problematic against Britons is when they play champion and longbowmen. Because then you can't just spam Huskarls in. And that's where you want to have the rams mixed in, because the rams can still soak up some attacks. Yeah, partial winner. We have Stranded, which is a nomad start. It's not your typical nomad map because the positions are kind of fixed. But if you want nomad maps, we do have one in this pool. st4rk's got the militia. And Deaker clearly expects this because Deaker is walling. And Deaker saw the barracks with the flag. So good scouting. We take this for granted, guys. We get so used to players finding the right details that oftentimes it's not even talked about. And it has to be talked about. Nice quick walls here from Deaker. And st4rk's scout is now kind of trapped in here. Deaker still got the villagers on the fish. st4rk did see the mill, so he'll send the militia there. That'll be his target. We have way more on food for st4rk, though, just because he's not going to be under early pressure. st4rk will be disappointed his scout is weaker. But he is going to pull Deaker away from this. And Deaker should always know about this. Always. He just saw it. Yep, he expects it. He'll drop a tower. I actually really like this tower. Because eventually you're going to build another mill. And so it protects your current mill and your future mill. I like that. I like the walls. I like the archer range. I like the archer idea. Archer range for st4rk. He does have 5 man-at-arms right now. If 5 man-at-arms with arson could be pretty strong against these houses. You need more than 1 villager to repair, even now. But the 5th one isn't here yet. The 5th one is falling back to attack that scout. And it's getting some damage in. st4rk's scout is actually still alive. It went underneath the TC. So there's a lot happening right now. Ooh, villagers attacking. I don't think st4rk's expecting that. Oh, dude, that's cheeky from Deaker. He actually gets away with that, too. That's a real confident play. That villager would have been immediately dead. But yeah, you got some damage. The archer's there, too. Again, there's a lot to manage right now. And now we have a tower from st4rk. A tower that's actually not visible for Deaker. I'm not sure what I think about this tower. Because, like, the tower feels good initially. But long term, you can't tower your fish then. And this is where a lot of that pressure ends up coming in. So let's see if st4rk finds any stone. There's no stone down here, remember. You'd have to go to the outside to find stone. So it's unlikely he gets another tower. But, I mean, it does force Deaker off the wood line. Deaker will have to go to another wood line. Deaker still just waiting at home with the archers because he sees the skirmishers too. So we're just seeing the threat of the man-at-arms. Because when you play archers, you have one military unit... one military unit being produced at all times, but man-at-arms was... And skirm is 2. And it's costly. You would never be able to afford all this without the shorefish. But so far, it's paid off. And he did find the stone. Wow. Okay, so he is on stone for more towers. Which means I don't really hate the situation. We'll take down a second house now. Rasan, what's up? Thanks for the 16 months. He said, did they change that patrolling units don't attack houses anymore, but go for army and villas if they're in sight? Or is that always the case? Did they change... Okay, yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly how the behavior was, but I can tell you that you are going to have units patrol into farms and patrol into buildings, even if there's some units around. Maybe slightly different from patch to patch, but if that's what you mean, that's pretty common these days. It's not as common that units are going to patrol into a farm, which is the really annoying one when you go to raid somebody, but it's not perfect, so... Deaker still just has not been able to easily engage against this. But he hasn't lost any vills. He was housed for a bit. But he's still making the range units. If st4rk were to try and attack here, things could get problematic. st4rk has tons of shorefish saturation, though. Look at this. Here, we've got skirmishers protecting. We've got 10 villagers on food. Here, we've got about 3 villagers about to be on food. Now we got 6 more going. He's not even taking his berries. It's all the shorefish. So the food income is probably already a bit of a difference. Okay, that's similar because Deaker's had a lot too. But the food income is going to climb for st4rk. But he also has spent more food. And if Deaker's able to get to Castle Age, he could go for Fire Lancers. He could even just play very strong skirmishers and crossbowmen. So I think getting to Castle Age is the way to bring this back if you're Deaker. Crazy just how much of the game has been played, how much has happened, and we just had our 3rd kill. It's ridiculous just how much control st4rk has had. st4rk has 1 kill in this game. That's the starting scout, and he still had so much pressure on the opponent at the same time. But the key is this for Deaker. I'm okay with you using the market, but you do still always need to have the food income to compete. A mix of both, reaching Castle Age at a good time here would be the key. And then if you find stone, which he has found, you could build more towers. That's the early guard tower upgrade. You could pressure the main TC of st4rk. You could pressure the shorefish. st4rk still just seems so methodical as he places more and more towers around because he knows the counterattack will come. And st4rk knows that Deaker's going to be on the way up. The score's pretty low, but he's on the way up as well. 7 on stone for Deaker. So he's shifting more onto stone when he already has 350 stone. So he wants a castle. Could counter tower here to get that wood line. Doesn't choose to counter tower. Brings the army out. Brings the army out, but now he needs to back away because that's still a strong enough army for st4rk. Towers are actually not walled in, so they could just be battered down at any point. But I think st4rk would be happy with that because st4rk just wants to kill something with his army right now, right? So only 1 on stone for st4rk. More man-at-arms on the way. Longsword upgrade is free with the Bulgarians, so makes sense to add a little bit more. We'll add this to the amount of houses that he has raised. How many do we think it is? Is this going to be 5? Deaker also just deleted 1, so he could potentially run out there. Yep, Deaker adding more houses because his base keeps getting chewed up. But here comes the counterattack. This is the moment of truth for Deaker. Deaker has not been here in a long time. So last time Deaker was here, there was no tower. He has no clue what this looks like. Obviously needs to keep his army alive. Okay, there's a tower. There's a tower. Now you're getting kind of concerned. The free armor on the ranged units is pretty nice. Stark does need to run away. Stark still has some villagers over here as well. If Stark doesn't run with those villagers, he could have problems. He doesn't see the army. He's waiting for his own skirm upgrades. He's got villagers inside of those towers, and I think he's forgotten about this. And he might even be looking here, but we've got a castle from Deaker. Castle that should shoot that tower down, should protect the front of his base. Ooh, and Deaker didn't see this. He walked right past it. Stark was bringing his skirms over anyways, but he'll pull the vills. I think Deaker is maybe paranoid about the longswords at his base. Obviously wants to complete the castle, has a lot to look at right now. Needs to drop a tower, protect this area. Close game. Military could definitely go either way. Considering Stark, has so much fish and he has good skirm count, I don't know if war wagons are that worrying. But if it becomes war wagons and siege and towers, then it's different. So I actually think Deaker needs a siege workshop. If he goes siege from the middle and starts to pressure Stark's town center, I don't think Stark's thinking about that. Look at this scouting from Stark. He scouted the whole map in the north. Amazing what keeping a scout alive can do. And is he actively looking at this? Almost feels like Deaker's well aware those units are still around. Nice awareness from both players. I don't know if Stark actually knew anything about that, but he is looking here. Yeah, now he sees it. War wagon will probably kill the longswords. And here come the skirms now from Stark. He'll find the tower, though. He doesn't seem that bothered by it. He's got a lot of skirmishers. There's not a lot of army around. He sees villagers for the taking, and he's going to go for it. Again, skirms are one of your better options against the wagons. So nice snipe. But yeah, double tower, this gets dangerous. And Stark will need to move around. They'll eventually meet in the middle here, right? They'll work their way through the fish. They're going to need a castle, a crepo, something here. And here comes the siege from Deaker. 46 vills for Deaker. He has the villager lead. 14 military. Some of that military, though, is an unupgraded feudal age army, which could still do something. Stark is just going to take down this tower right now because there's no murder holes. We've got a second, and we've got a third town center now from Stark. Again, though, he's expanding towards where a fight could happen. So it's a little dangerous, but it's a good thought because he seems to know that Deaker's going to the north. He definitely knows where Deaker is going to arrive, and he's waiting here. And Deaker's still hoping to find something, and he runs right into more skirmishers. Pain. It's not what you want. Also, you don't want to be, like, raiding with rocket carts. It's super slow. I think he just needs to smash the front of Stark's base. Stark did take down the tower. But Stark is not going to expect rocket cart raids. Because nobody expects rocket cart raids. So sometimes a weird play can work out. And now suddenly Stark is like, what? I think he needs his own siege workshop, but it's hard to build up there. Stark is definitely keeping an eye on this area. And Deaker will start to take down this tower. But Deaker's not booming at all. Deaker doesn't have a second town center, and Stark's got 3. Eventually, Stark might transition into some farms as well. Stark has a 5-villager lead right now. Look, Deaker's looking for eco expansion. This is where you're typically going to have town centers. No one builds it down here. So it's really sneaky from Stark. What's up, Hambone? Welcome to the stream. First time chatter. Anyone else is new? Let me know. I talked about it earlier. We have new merch. It's on the merch link. I could show it on stream. But while it's not really that hype for most people, where it is going to be hype is if anyone happens to have a new child, we actually have the Hi, I'm New emote in a baby onesie. So your newborn can also say, Hi, I'm new. Incredibly specific market, but I thought it was funny, so I'll show you later. Stark's coming through this way. We also have TTL mugs. We have TTL hoodies. We have TTL zipper hoodies. TTL shirts. We have all that, which is probably the more important thing, but all the different leagues as well. I think finally Deaker is starting to realize where he needs to pressure. The issue is it too late? But this is the easy target. This town center is a liability for *4rk. *4rk has done a good job to defend everything else, and *4rk actually did build a crep post here. Just as Deaker is going to build a guard tower. So this is probably where it all stops as far as the shorefish. This is where they'll both need to have farms. Deaker can't go this way for shorefish at all. He has very little food income. *4rk doesn't have any farms yet. He does have some deer. He does have some berries. But holy chaos right now. Prep post is up. I don't think Deaker knew that was there. He is to bail on that. We've got war wagons underneath this tower. The skirms are there. We've got a rocket cart, which is now unprotected, and the longsword will handle it. And then we have *4rk repairing his starting town center, just hoping to keep it alive. This is chaotic, man. Just see the first farms of the game right there. 2 farms for *4rk. But he is 45 on food otherwise. So props to him for still finding the food and just delaying those farms. I think we're going to start to see the farms now. And if he can hold, if he can defend, he'll have more eco. I still just don't know what units he'll make. Because Rocket Cart War Wagon is a really tough comp to stop. Towers are starting to come up now for Deaker. Second town center for Deaker. I think it's just inevitable that *4rk is going to lose this town center. Unless he sneaks a siege workshop and tries to hit that. But you can't even play siege defense against the tower. Yeah, Deaker knows. Deaker knows that this is his only advantage, and he needs to force the issue. *4rk's still waiting if these units were to get past. And *4rk actually going in with Conics now. He tries to get the siege, guys. He tries to get the siege, and his units get completely blocked there. Now, when the Conic dies, the Rider gets up, though. So you have one last little attempt. They're trying, but it's not enough. He loses 4 or 5 Conics. Only takes 1 rocket cart. I don't know if that's worth it. Also, *4rk needs to balance out his res. He needs to get more vills on stone. He needs to get more vills on gold. He will sneak to the north with 20 villagers for the fish. Deaker, 6 on food. 6 on food, but he's got the castle still pumping out the wagons and the siege workshop still making the rocket carts. Super difficult for *4rk to ever raid Deaker right now, which is what makes this push so strong. If the Koreans didn't have towers everywhere, then *4rk would just go here. But there's a town center and there's a tower everywhere. But props to *4rk because he's kept this town center up. And I still think it's going to eventually go down, but he's given himself a lot of time. And expanding up here is crazy confident. But the war wagons are starting to think about moving that way. *4rk can see them. So he might need to bail with these villagers. He does still have the skirmishers around. The skirms have just been waiting back here. Watching *4rk play is so interesting. He's so patient. Like, a lot of players are going to try and go kill stuff with all this army throughout the last 3 minutes. But he knows I have the lead. I just need to hold. So I'll repair this with everything I have. When I need the skirms, I'll have them in the middle. So I can react this way or this way. And he had them at the perfect spot. Now Deaker notices them. And now Deaker needs to back away. Do like this from Deaker, though. Deaker walling in the siege so he doesn't have to protect the siege anymore. So, good move. 103 villagers for *4rk. I would want to go Cav now with this eco. I don't know if it's the right play, but this is... Now you're getting to an economy where you can throw away some light Cav, your unit can die without any valuable kills, and you're still happy. He's dropping houses in the back. And to be clear, like... Light Cav is not a very good unit against the wagons, but when your economy is looking like this, you can at least maybe do that to snipe the rocket carts. Not seeing any stables yet. In theory, it should be Conics, right? Because Conic is your strongest unit. It is Cav. You'll have 2 Crepos, maybe more. Like, there's a Conic. Finally, the town center goes down for Stark. And Deaker will see the mills, so Deaker knows that Stark's been over here. But Crep Post will cut this off. So now there's this big back section of space for Stark, which is kind of protected by Crep Posts and TCs. And Deaker can't really get to it. Yeah, maybe you don't even make any army then. Maybe you just keep booming. Like, I don't know. He's going for what? His 6th town center now? I guess it's the 6th in the game. But he did lose the one. That's crazy. 118 villas versus 71. Deaker will try and pressure any position he can. He'll drop a tower here. So, I mean, that's good. It will need some army here, unfortunately. But probably will be able to build another tower if he buys some stone. Actually, longswords are on the way. Longswords just finished taking down a tower. Oh, that's super annoying for Deaker. But all his army's on the other side. Like, he can't do anything. He can't go here. He's got to come all the way down to the south. And then meanwhile, Eco's just booming like crazy for Stark. I mean, the previous game, Stark had a worse economy. And he had a worse position and came back. But this is still such a fun positional game from Stark. The fact that he's been able to turn this into such a big economy. His opponent has the better army, but his opponent just can't freaking go anywhere. Is so intelligent. And if he drops a Crep Post here, because that army's on the way, the second a Crep Post is up, that area is protected too. I think eventually, Deaker's just going to YOLO somewhere. He's actually on the way to Imp. Wow. They both are. But eventually, you have to recognize, I can't react like this. You find an area which is somewhat exposed, and you just go to it. And maybe he found it. It's right through the middle. Stark doesn't have anything here. He cut off this side. He cut off this side. But he didn't cut off the middle. He does still have skirms. Is that enough skirmishers, though? If these rocket carts come forward, then maybe it's not enough. But, oh, man, there's a knight from Stark. Stark made a knight from the stable. And he gets some value from it. Snipes one of the rocket carts. Oh, man. Deaker accidentally kills himself on the stable. Stark just giving himself time. And now he's building a castle back here. Rocket carts have one friendly fire kill. And I don't know how much total friendly fire damage, but mistakes happen. Stables on the left side for Stark. 155 villagers. Is there any positive for Deaker right now? Imp won't be faster. Unit composition's probably still better. But it feels like that could so easily change. Stark is almost 200 pop. He's getting stirrups now, so his cav will attack 33% faster. And he's getting bloodlines. Still don't know what cav he's going to make, if it's going to be Conics or Cavalier or Hussars. But with that much gold, it probably should be Conics and Cavalier. Deaker will hit Imp and he'll want damage. Stark is researching chemistry there, so that's not going to work. Unless, well... well, rocket carts ran into a Crep Post. And I don't know if I would sit here focusing on the university if I'm behind. I think I would probably move around, try and get some damage done. Okay, it'll be denied. Wait, it's at 34 HP. Deaker, Deaker, Deaker. Kill the university. Kill the university. He doesn't know chemistry's being researched there, guys. He wants to go get kills. Now he runs into a castle. Bro, take down the university. It's one volley. It's one little volley and it's gone. Oh my god. Chemistry will complete for Stark. Stark is raiding over here. Stark dropped a Crep Post on Deaker over here to shoot down the tower. Chemistry will complete. Skirms are here in healthy numbers. And the raids are going to begin, guys. The raids are going to begin. It's actually just Hussar from Stark. So he's just banking up the gold. Crep Posts everywhere. He's going to drop another Crep Post. How often do you see the Koreans getting out-towered, essentially? A Krepos is a little bit different than a tower. It's better than a tower. It's crazy. And now the wagons have lost their timing. There's too many skirms out, so the wagons have to fall back. And let the raids begin for Stark. Fully upgraded Hussars. 165 villagers. More and more Krepos are going to be placed around the map too, I'm sure. Comp-wise, Deaker has always done the right things, I think. He went archers early, war wagons in mid-game, and now he's going for Fire Lancer. I think that's the right call, but I just don't know if he's going to be able to survive this. Like, Stark has 70 more vills and is defended everywhere. If he used this gold, he could just buy stone. He'd buy up the stone, drop Krepos every time he takes down a tower, and just replaces it. Siege ram is on the way for Stark. He'll start to work on these towers here. Over here, he killed the villagers underneath this tower. Here, he's got the Krepos still. Here, he's got a siege workshop to focus on those villagers. Again, Fire Lancer's still really strong. But considering the eco difference, I think I'd even go Hussars against Fire Lancers and feel happy with it. Like, you're still going to eventually take them down. It's an okay fight. Maybe Stark needs to ram the middle. Feels like the middle is where Deaker's surviving right now. But that's kind of a weird spot to look. I don't think Stark is in any rush at the moment. I think he knows he's in the better position. He just needs some time. He'll drop the barracks now. And, yep, more rams are coming. He'll just go, he can go Bagains, right? Two-handed swordsman with the Bagains upgrade. 5 melee armor should be very strong against the Fire Lancers. Town center's down on this side. More rams on the way from Stark to pressure there. Towers and TCs are going down. Stark's about to be 8-0 in TTL5. And I know it's early. But, I mean, the heavy frontrunner to win his group. It's crazy as well. Just so boomy, so methodical. Just takes it to late game. And is able to make the slightly better decisions. He's also got these civs that are seen as really good in late game. Like, Bulgarian early game had to be strong here too. But Bulgarian late game is very hard to break. I think Deaker can't believe it right now. Because of how game number 1 went. Krepos there from Stark. Raids up here from Stark. Town center will go down. Raids will just continue. And Deaker's sitting there at 99 pop in disbelief. He was 5k score ahead in game number 1. Lost that game. He was never really ahead in this game. But it's just such a tough opponent on the other side. There's Bagains. Bilbo Bagains incoming from the barracks. And, yep, Deaker says not a fan of that movie. And he calls the GG. Damn. Well, 2-0 here for Stark. We will have the other game. Game is still really valuable, right? It's still $10, but more importantly, for the group standings right now, the Stark, that's going to be just as important for him. Stark is loving life. I just loved how he played here. Deaker's home map. What do you need stylistically against Stark? Because Deaker's not a very aggressive early game player himself. I feel like to break Stark, you got to have a lead in early castle. And if you don't, he's just going to outboom you and control the map. So decisions have already been made now on the draft. We'll see what it is, but feels like Stark just has this guy's number, man. Deaker even had the better KD there, but the economy was ridiculous. 65k res collected from Stark, more of every resource, and he was just patient. He was just so patient. He just waits. He drops a couple towers, drops a couple Krepos, and it's the literal definition of come at me, bro. Come at me. What are you going to send? Oh, you're going to send that? Good. I already expected it 10 minutes ago. Like, and in the game 1 as well, like Stark was behind and he still was sitting there like, come at me. Like, I'm just waiting for you, even though I'm 50 pop behind. And turned it around. Beautiful play, man. Here we go. All right. Yo, Don, thanks for the 9 months. Thanks for the 9 months. Shadowflower, thank you for the 19 months. Yeah, nobody saw that. Nobody pays attention to anything I show on screen anyways. Game number 3. Still 10 bucks on the line. The results are still really important, especially for Deaker right now. He's got 1 win in live standings, so he needs to bump those numbers up. Stark has 8 wins. Now, Stark had already played an additional round, so things are a little bit different there, but Stark is flying. And I think in all of our groups, we've never had someone go 15-0. I think we've had 14-1, but we've never had someone go completely undefeated in group stage. Maybe that'll change this season. But this is one of our Regicide starts, and I say one of, it's the only Regicide start we have. So you start with Regicide resources, you start with lots of vills, especially if you're Chinese. So Stark's got villagers in the middle right now on the water. But it's not a king, guys, it's actually a queen. So 50% of the time, you will get a queen instead of a king. And if you were to lose her, you would be defeated. So Deaker, be very careful, please. There she goes. Walking around, vibing. She'll see the dock, I think. She should have the same stats as a king. And yep, now Deaker's going to know that Stark's got some of the fish in the middle. Stark had a crazy build on this before. Looks like he does again here. Check this out. He goes early dock, early barracks. You don't start with that. 2 militia. And he's looking for the wood line on the outside. Now, he did this with Aztecs, but Aztecs, you start with 50 gold. Here, he had to delay a lumber camp and build a mining camp instead. And then he just collected enough wood from a straggler to get the wood for the lumber camp. Stark is so well prepped for this tourney. It's crazy. And also, by the way, Chinese are one of the best civs for this. I mean, Mongols are one of the best civs if you can get to late game. But Regicide start Chinese is maybe the best civ in the game. Because you have 0 TC idle time because of the additional food. And then very solid adaptable civ. Now, if Deaker did his homework, he will know that Stark might do this. I think he's just trying to be safe. I don't think he has any indicators. And oh my god. Bro. Guys, no loom. And you can't even research loom if you want because you didn't mine the gold for it. So that wall was crazy. Imagine if he walled this side and then the militia came from the other angle. Yeah, he didn't know anything about it. But it is a natural wall that players are going to have to do. So I think from here on out, I think Stark should never do this build. Because anyone who plays him should expect this and just pre-wall. I've seen it twice now. Assuming the players do their research, you should kind of expect it. But I like this. The villagers on Shorefish don't need to stay here forever. You definitely don't want to stay here forever because they'll be exposed. And behind this, Stark is on the way up. The Stark scout is weak. So I think he was engaging against Deaker's scout for a little while. And Deaker's scout has a little bit more scout HP. And Deaker's the Mongols, so he's trying to go fast castle right now. But yeah, yeah, check out T90official.tv if you want to see the new merch for TTL. You want to see the probability site I showed. We have the prediction contest. We also have the fantasy teams. And honestly, there's going to be more things we're adding to that over time. So, just in case people didn't know what I was looking at earlier. So, it feels like a standard fast castle from Stark. Deaker's situation's a little awkward here. He didn't preemptively mine the golds. He will sell 100 stone, which is all you can sell. But he also sells some food, and he'll click up. Okay. So, not bad. Deaker's on the way up, but on the way up to do what? See, this wood line here, these trees have 200 wood. And they look like trees that typically have 100 wood. So if you're not prepared, you might think you would chop through already. But actually, because it's 200 wooded tree, you really need to focus them down. So that'll actually take some time for Deaker to get through. Ooh, villagers there. Most importantly, the scouts are here. I think Deaker just tried to trap him? What happened there? I wasn't actually paying attention. I was I was literally zooming in right here, and then something happened. Yeah, I definitely think Deaker tried to trap him. I really wish Deaker would have come back and killed Stark's scout. Stark's scout is on 1 HP. Stark gets away with that. Especially if you're trying to sneak. Here comes 2 villagers now. Yeah, look, Stark knows this map. There is no way this happens by chance. These two villagers were force-clicked to that tree. This as well. So he is... Yeah, you can tell as well because they're getting blocked off. It's really annoying. You actually have to reset them all the time. But I'm pretty sure Stark knows he needs to be out there to get the stone. Oh my god, Stark sees it. Deaker didn't kill the 1 HP scout. He's trying to go forward. At home, he's made a barracks and a stable. He wants to pressure here, and Stark is aware that those villagers are forward now. Yep. Now, does he let his opponent know that he knows? Oh, dude, Stark is so confident right now. Stark feels like a king. Stark feels like an absolute god. He attacked him to let him know, I know you're there. Really uncomfortable feeling if you're Deaker, when your opponent knows. Stark does have this gold. And these are also fortified palisade walls, which are a lot stronger than a normal palisade. But it's still not a stone wall. So a siege push could work. Mangano's on the way. Still, we haven't seen any great escapes here from Deaker to get to the outside, where there's berries, there's deer, and there's stone, which is all important for the Mongols. The only thing Stark didn't know about was the Lancers, and now he just caught a glimpse of the Lancer, and now he will shift over to the gold. Villagers are still not free. By the way, it's difficult, but if you lab this out, you can actually be out and still go for castle units on this map. But you'd have to have your two villagers really focused on the trees. I think it's too risky, but it is doable. The Stark says, I'm not going knights. I'm not going cav archers. I'm not going archers. I'm going fire lancers, man. Fire lancers amassing from double barracks. And he has his own siege workshop. Now, in the Red Bull event and sudden disaster event, people were going for siege tower shenanigans with the fire lancers. And the devs still have made 0 nerfs to that. We didn't want to outright ban it, because I like the play, but I also think the play is way too strong and feels unnatural for the game. So what we did was we adjusted the siege towers in the scripts, which is a bit weird, but basically it has less HP than the normal game. You can only garrison 5 units, which means it does travel a bit slower. So it is still doable, but it is not as strong. And so Stark is going to add it. It's still a really good strat, but it's not like completely game ending like it would be with the way it works otherwise. So this might not be the case all of TTL. If they push a patch that fixes this or adjusts it in any way, we'll probably remove these changes. But if you're interested in the specifics, you can use the TTL command. Here we go for Deaker. But I think this build is the perfect build against siege and cav pushes, because you can roll in close, take the siege, and then you have fire lancers, which are really good against the step lancers. Stark has that siege tower in there. And Deaker is chasing down these lancers, and choo-choo! There's the siege tower. Again, you would be able to put 10 in there. It would be significantly faster had we not made the changes. So it is still a play, but it is not nearly as strong. You can't save everything. But in and out of the siege tower goes Stark. He has to be more careful now because it has less HP. So it can't tank as many hits. And honestly, that could have been way worse for the start of this for Deaker. Mangonel's a little exposed, but he lands a really good shot there. And now the siege tower's dead. So, yeah, due to those changes, the Mangonels can actually take them down. It's easier to hit them, and you can't fit them all inside. And Deaker's okay with that. Deaker will be very happy with that. And he can continue this push, maybe. Still can't really take Stark off the gold. But he's making some progress. Stark has been out for a while, though. 2 town centers for him. Access to stone. He did drop a tower here, too. And he is now expanding to the 3rd town center. Meanwhile, Deaker's through, but I don't think he's really thinking about it. And Deaker's economy is not amazing. So he has to push. He has to get damage. I think Stark is just defaulting to what he likes to do. Like, he's defaulting to boom and defend. He tried his best to shut that down, but even though it didn't work, 3 town centers, good eco upgrades, and the pressure is still on Deaker, where Deaker has to break him. He didn't know about the siege from TT4rk. Now he does. Almost loses that there. And TT4rk is just going to be patient behind here, and also sending a villager this way. So, last time TT4rk played this, way later in the game, he walled this. Also, look at the understanding there's going to be a relic there. He leaves the scout there just in case. I would not be surprised if TT4rk played a dozen practice sets. Every single map, he seems so comfortable. And some of these choices, like, these are really different maps. These are completely unique scenarios. So it's not like your skills translate from one event to another here. It's just the definition with doing a lot with the little. He's got a rocket card on this side. He's got a rocket card on this side. And he's like, okay, I've got the hill over here and it's at 2 towers. You can't push that. And he's making a demo from the dock. Remember, there is a queen in there. So I don't know how easy it is to push a fortified tower with mangonels. It shouldn't be very easy. But it doesn't have upgrades. And if TT4rk were to forget about that and lose her, it's game over. How comparable is this to a guard tower? I don't even know. Well, it has 13 range, so I think 13 range means you cannot push that. Yeah, TT4rk's still sending a villager this way. And TT4rk is sending a fire lancer this way. And Deaker, I guess, has just decided I've got to push from this angle. If you get fletching, does it add more range to the fortified tower? Because 13 is insane for base range. I don't know. I'm guessing we might find out. Deaker's still all in here. Like, he's way behind, and he hasn't been able to break any town centers. But he's bringing villagers now for a castle, which makes sense. But I think you gotta take that town center down somehow. It looks like he's freeing up the space for the castle to do that. Deaker is definitely on the clock. The economy difference tells you he's on the clock. I agree that Mongols have this weird shift, though. If it gets... They're dangerous in super early game, but they're also dangerous in super late game. But there is no way you're getting to super late game with this economy. What is that from Deaker? Oh, there's a fire lancer here that patrolled into his house, so he's just going to build a tower there because he thinks there'll be an attack. Oh, God, and here we go. Here we go. Rocket cart defense. Tower defense for TT4rk. That's the plan anyways. That tower he's building might not go up. Castle's on the way up from Deaker. TT4rk, please move your queen. Please move your queen. If you lose her, it's game over. It's so easy for people to forget here. TT4rk still doesn't have fletching for his towers either. Which means his towers are going to go down so fast. He does have a rocket cart coming. So maybe he can land a shot while he has a second. Oof, big shot. Tower's still standing. Castle's up, though. Castle should range the tower where the queen is. Oh, man. Does anyone remember the player who lost his king on this map in another tourney? I think it was in the qualifier. I think it was... I actually wasn't casting it. I was watching Dave cast it. I think it was Draken. Draken against Vivi. Oh, man. It was so bad. He had such a big lead. The game was won, and then he didn't have his king garrisoned. Could have been other people. Yeah, John Slow as well has lost some kings. Big shots. Step Lancers are getting lance themselves. Sorry, just forget I said any there. This is fine. Low elo caster. I'm getting a little worried for TT4rk here, guys. It's still taking Deaker so long, though. And TT4rk will just drop a castle back here. I mean, I guess that's fine. You were always going to lose these towers. You're always going to lose your town center. You build a castle, and then you're okay. You lose 5 villagers, that's nothing. But the queen, dude. The queen is right there. Guys, Deaker should... Oh, she's running! She's running! She's running! I was just going to say Deaker should not focus on anything but that tower, but now the queen is running. She's on the move. I don't know where she's going exactly. No way, dude! Don't go that way to your castle! Lady, are you crazy? Oh, okay, well, I guess that was the only way to get to the castle. And now the queen is in the castle. Yikes. Imagine, though, if Deaker, when that flag was on the tower, imagine if he just full focused on it. I think he wins the game. But they're just not used to regicide with queens, I guess. Like, the tower was right here this whole time. And it's now in the castle range, too. I would have focused on that with everything. With Lancers, there's a very good chance that you maybe get that. I don't know. Do you think Deaker knows he's 50 villagers behind? I would look at the score, and I would think that I'm maybe like 20 vills behind. Not 50. 50 villas behind is crazy. I mean, this whole game has just been Deaker getting damage. And now Stark's on the way to Imp, and I guess with Imp, Stark's plan is to go for this castle with trebuchets. You know what makes me nervous right now? The fact that Stark is making Chukonu. Because in community games, we see it, where if someone is used to putting their unique units in their castle, and then they want to send their units out of the castle to go attack, they'll send their king out too. So if he's playing Chukunu, maybe Stark would make a mistake. But Deaker's trying to break through this way to get over to this economy he doesn't know about. And Stark will drop a castle just in time. And Fletching's on the way for Stark, who is still imping. And still has a massive eco loop. And he is going to stonewall over here, which he tried to do a while ago. That's a good move. The rocket court there doesn't get the kill. And here comes Deaker for another castle. Be quick, Monk. Be quick. Nice. You can die now. He did his job. It's a little sad, but he waited his whole life for that. That was always his life's goal, so... Off to heaven for him. Castle for Deaker. Still Chukunu for Stark. But I don't think Deaker knew about this castle. Maybe he did. He's dropping another castle. Bro. He's so hungry for victories. I love it, though. Because it'll range both the town centers, maybe, so... Still no imp is going to be a problem. I think Deaker basically has to hope that Stark sends the queen out. Wait, where is it? Where is she? Oh, she's in the town center now. Ah, nice. And it seems so obvious for us, but when you're in the game, dude, there's no mini-map notification where your king or queen is. It's not obvious. Holy ram push from Deaker. He knows he's behind. He knows he needs to break him. Maybe he knows the queen is back there. But this is just such an awkward choke point. The castle can take down all the mangonels. The Chukunu behind will shred the rams and shred all the army. Queen is still in the town center. Deaker has descended here because he knows he'll just get trebbed down. And here the first trebuchet is out. But the rams will go down. And Stark wins 3-0. A crazy series from him, honestly. So impressive. He's just so patient, but like calculated patience. It's not like he's inviting pressure all the time and he doesn't do it with a purpose, you know? In all of these games, he was attacking, he was doing different things, but then he just such nice eco behind it. It's crazy. It's also really annoying to farm back here. You don't have a lot of space. None of this is easy. This whole map is so different, so like just complicated. And Stark's now 9-0. So maybe we'll see Stark back at Gold League. I think it was a surprise when he got relegated out of Gold last time. I think he wasn't in good a shape then. Sometimes that happens. If he's not a full-time player, maybe he just wasn't really as focused on AoE at the time. But yeah, not much more I can say. I think for Deaker, he probably should have won the first game. And maybe it's one of those sets where if he won the first game, he ends up winning another game. Maybe his mindset was affected there because he was 5K score ahead in game number 1 and still ended up losing. certainly would have affected me. We'll look at the stats now and just what the group stage looks like. I still think there's plenty to play for Deaker. He's still got 3 rounds remaining, but for Stark, I mean, he's playing for first, man. Yeah, this is what I showed. You guys can look at this as well if you check out the site. T90official.tv on the Titans League tab will show this. We're looking at Group D. And so according to the probability sheet, Stark 88% favored for first right now. Again, a lot can happen. Oh, wait, was that Deaker's 3rd round? Oof, that's rough for Deaker then. I didn't realize that was his 3rd round. So that means Deaker only has 2 wins. Also not looking good for Moray because he played his first 2 rounds and had 6 losses. Bad Koala, Nahuel, Dennis, all playing pretty good here. But if you're first place in the group, you get auto-promoted to gold for the next season, which would be a big jump. Yeah, so we have this for all leagues. You can go through. And if you would like to look through the potential possibilities to see what could happen, you could do that as well, right? So we could say, like, what happens if Moray ends up going up and winning 2-1? It changes the results there. And there's also a reset to live button, which we never had. Also, it's updating way faster than in previous years, and the site isn't crashing constantly like previous years. So already I am very happy with the upgrade. And that's before we talk about some of the other things that will come up